felt almost like it's good thing. I mean, you know, it's fun. I'm enjoying it. Well, I made that joke in my installation that the best title in Rotary is immediate past president. There you go. Apparently Bob Ward is supposed to be counting. Yeah, we're doing landscaping.
Trying to think
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hi, Rebecca.
My name is Rebecca Perea, and as of tomorrow is my 1-year anniversary of my election. So I'm here. I didn't say that to be clapped at. Thank you. So, first of all, are there any guests here today? Yes.
Hi, my son Jack Davis is here. He's going to be talking a little bit at the beginning about RILA, his experience at RILA.
Other guests? looking for a job for a really long time, basically since I started at Rotary. And on June 8th, I started working for an organization called Cultural Awareness International. And we do expat training around intercultural, communication. People need to know if they're going to work from country A to country B. And so I thought, this would be a really fun activity to do. I learned about these very unique international festivals, and I would love to tell you about them, and then you guess what country they're celebrated in, okay? All right.
Do we shout out or do we raise our hands?
You can shout out, yes. And as I was reviewing the four-way test, I noticed that this really, slides in well with will it build goodwill and better friendships. So, all right, here's the first one. Night of the Radishes. What do you think? Thailand, Mexico, Ecuador, Vietnam?
Ecuador.
You got them all? Anyone got Vietnam? I think I heard Vietnam too. Mexico. So this is really interesting. It's called La Noche de los Rábanos in Spanish. And it's in Oaxaca, Mexico. And it's in December 23rd, every year, since 1897. And thousands of people gather. Farmers actually grow enormous radishes specifically for this event. Some are cultivated to grow more than a foot long just for the festival. And these artists, they carve them into these detailed scenes. It could be anything, the nativity, it could be scenes of Mexican folklore, it could be historical events, and then they're judged by a citywide competition. And the interesting thing is, radishes wilt really fast, and so the elaborate work of art lasts like a day or two. So that's what makes it really interesting. Okay, here's the next one. Monkey Buffet Festival. Monkeys eating? It's not people eating monkeys, okay? I thought Laos too. Okay, this one's also really cool. This is usually the last Sunday in November, and about 2,000 macaque monkeys who live in this town year-round, but they roam freely because residents prepare an enormous feast of fruit, vegetables, corn, and other treats, often weighing several tons, as a way of thanking the monkeys for the tourism they bring to the community. And of course, the monkeys don't wait politely in line. They climb over everything, over the food, statues, cars, and so it's one of the most entertaining and chaotic festivals in the world. Lapburi, Thailand is called Thailand's Monkey City. So if you're going to Thailand, stop by. All right, here's the last one. Baby Jumping Festival. These are all for real, okay?
Romania.
Question, all of the above.
These are actual babies all the way down the street on mattresses. Yes, Spain, you're correct. Okay, so listen to this. This is held during the Feast of Corpus Christi. It started back in the early 1600s. And so this is, it's called El Salto del Colacho, the double jump. And men dressed as the devil, usually red and yellow, they represent evil, sin, and misfortune. So when the devil, quote, jumps over the babies, he symbolically carries away or absorbs the evil that might otherwise affect them, leaving them protected and blessed for the future. Isn't that cool?
Could be a disaster.
And the babies by the way, our babies that were born in the previous 12 months. So it's like every year they do it.
Do they have to?
They don't have to. Yeah, very cool. 400 years. So yeah, so a lot of what I love about learning about other cultures is you know, when you first see something, you might think it's strange or why would they do, and then you learn about why and the historical reasons why, and that's what creates community and friendship and cross-cultural understanding. So with that, I will pass the fine basket, and I will defer to David.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca. That was wonderful. Just a handful of announcements and one fun thing. Let's start with. Lorenzo invited Aaron's son Jack to come be with us today, so why don't we start with that? Jack, why don't you come on up and tell us about your RILA experience?
Good afternoon, Rotary. Good afternoon, Rotary. I'm Jack, as they introduced. That was my mom over there. Thank you for the introduction. I wanted to start by saying thank you to all of you for making RILA possible. Going into RILA, I wasn't expecting to enjoy it, actually. Looking back at it now, I am incredibly grateful that I went. Even though it was only a 2-night camp to help me grow as a whale, I would have never imagined. I left with many new friendships, new confidence, and new understanding of what leadership really means. Before the camp, I was very stressed. I wasn't told anything about RILA, actually, very mysterious. I imagined it'd be like a small group, you know, like a lot of like fun leadership icebreakers, but I was very wrong. That weekend happened to be the final weekend before a statewide competition for game design I was competing in, so I was staying up late all the past week working on my final submission, and so I wasn't super stoked to be going to RILA for the weekend, but I was very wrong. I ended up, once I arrived in RILA, I realized how wrong I was because I saw so many familiar faces, many people from my school. I even recognized some of the counselors, which was very fun. As soon as I arrived in my cabin, I started feeling excited because, like I said, a bunch of people I recognized. Throughout the weekend, we participated in all kinds of leadership activities that challenged us to communicate, solve problems, and work together. I was put in a team of people I had never seen before and grew very close with them. And so by the end of camp, they were close friends to me. Over the next 2 days, we tackled challenges, created skits, solved problems together, and encouraged one another. One thing I really appreciated was that everybody had a role to play. No one person carried the team. Everybody contributed in a different way, and that made us stronger together. One of my favorite moments was the activity where we had to cross a gap using only 2 wooden planks. On the surface, it sounded like a simple challenge, but it quickly became a lesson in communication, trust, and leadership. Different people stepped forward with different ideas, everybody listened to one another, and it showed that leadership isn't always about being the loudest, but it's about listening and encouraging others. What surprised me most is it wasn't just the scheduled activities. It was everything in between. During the free time, I would walk around with a group of people I knew and talk to a bunch of new faces and get new connections, many of which I actually stay in contact with today. Everybody I met had a different backstory, had like a different character, but they all fit in perfectly at RILA. By the last day, I realized I didn't want the experience to end. Before leaving, I walked around and I got everybody's contact information because I knew I wanted to stay connected with them. Thankfully, many of those friendships didn't end when the camp did. Whether it's online or in person, I still stay in touch with the people I met that weekend, and I'm grateful that those connections continue today. Looking back at it now, I realize that RILA gave me so much more than I expected. It helped me become more confident speaking with new people, it taught me the importance of teamwork, and it showed me that leadership comes in many different forms. If I had missed that weekend, I would have missed an experience that genuinely changed me. So once again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you to Rotary, and thank you to everybody who made RILA possible.
We have just a little bit of time, so thank you for coming and talking. What would be what you learned about, if you were going to sum it up for a friend and say, hey, this is what I've learned about leadership, and I didn't realize this, how would you describe leadership now?
I would describe leadership as not being the only person to lead the group, but listening to everybody who you're cooperating with and combining all the ideas to form one full solution or solution to the problem.
And just tell us a little bit, you're a rising senior at Chapel Hill High. What are your thoughts about the future?
Scary. With all the AI stuff and going into the computer industry, it's very scary, but I figured there's got to be someone to lead the group, lead the pack into the future. So I want to step up and I want to be the person to kind of create the next innovation. And yeah.
Jack, thank you for coming. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Kids like this don't happen by accident. So how about an applause for both Jack and his mom?
That's great. And I'm sure everyone knows, but in case you don't remember, RILA is a program for juniors in high school where they go away for a weekend and, as Jack said, do leadership training. And many of the people in this room have kids or grandkids who have been through it, including my daughter or Omar's daughter. It's a fantastic program. And so be keeping in mind, Lorenzo will have more about that as we move through the year. But if you know a junior, if you're related to a junior in high school, we committed, our Rotary Club, everyone in this room sponsors, what is it, Lorenzo, 8 kids?
This year we sponsored 10.
10 kids. So, there's a small application process, but if you have a relationship with someone that fits that bill, we know the selection committee, so we can help them. And then it just goes to a true sort of selection process. So, Christian, you wanted to make a quick announcement. We wanted you to make a quick announcement.
Hello. My name is Christian Poole. I am the current membership chair, and I was the membership chair during Felix's term. We have a great committee that I wanted to recognize. Rebecca, Lyda, Lily Engelhardt is not here, and Erica Verana, and Meg Ocean. Round of applause for them. I don't have any historical reference for this, but we brought in 14 new members during Felix's term. And as you guys know, the existing members are the reason that happens. As good as the membership committee is, and all the support that we try to provide for new members, you guys are the recruiters. And you did a really outstanding job. I think Felix told me his goal for the year was 13 or 14. So to meet that goal, it seems like a pretty tall order. So I'm really happy with the way things went. We hope to continue that for David's term. And just a small favor on that note, I know we have a lot of great members here and people that really love Rotary. So I know you think about Rotary in your everyday lives, but just as a sort of emphasis or, to me to ask you guys to continue thinking about who in your life do you think would appreciate being a member of our club and who would be a great addition to our club. So go home today, think about that. If you have one person that you think would fit that bill, invite them to lunch. And hopefully things can progress and that person will get something great out of it. And so will we as a club. But again, congratulations to everyone, because you guys brought in those 14 members. And I think that's a really great year to be proud of. So thanks.
Thanks, Christian. Again, the membership committee does a lot of work and can help, and we'll have ideas, etc., as we go throughout the year. But the real membership committee is all of us, and the way it works best is if you know of someone that you think, as Christian said, would enjoy Rotary. It's not for everyone, but it's for a lot of us. It's for a lot of our friends, and so just be thinking of that, because we always need to be adding good, fun people to our club. Just a couple more things. Did anyone see? Is Jody here, Dr. Magnus? Did anyone happen to see? I think we will send her a link around in the scuttlebutt next week. She's been in the news. She's our resident archaeologist, you may remember, and has spoken with us about the discovery of mosaics in Israel that she and her team unearthed and have been studying. Recently, National Geographic named those mosaics and her team as to its list of 100 archaeological treasures of the past. It's kind of a big deal. And so, from time to time, I'll just remind the club of some fun old traditions that have been a part of the club for years for some of the newer members. One of them, though, is that when you are quoted in the newspaper and fail to mention the East Chapel Hill Rotary Club in your quote, you get a fine. So I think Jody probably owes us $1 for the fine basket, because I did not read anything about the East Chapel Hill Rotary Club.
Hey, Mr. President, $5.
$5? Inflation. Jim says it's $5. Quickly, Tim Smith isn't here, but I'm going to remind everyone about the teacher supply store coming up. That is the third week in August. I think it's August 14th, 15th, 16th. But check your email about that, and please sign up. We need a lot of help, as always. That's our biggest service project of the year in terms of dollars spent and potentially hours as well. That same week, we'll have a regular table volunteer shift and SECU Family House dinner. So it's a busy week that week. So please try to help out if you're around. I'm going to mention briefly, will be much more on this to come, including lots of details, but October 2nd and 3rd, we are going to have what we're calling a weekend of service. There'll be no meeting that Friday, October 2nd, and instead we're going to try to have 2 or 3 different volunteer opportunities for folks that are able to do it. Stay tuned on that, more to come, but just be thinking about that. And with that, I will ask Linda to come up and introduce our speaker.
Well, what a privilege it is for me today to introduce our speaker, who has represented the United States and Rotary in international curling competitions. Now, if you don't know what curling is, you're going to find out about it. This is a sport often described as shuffleboard on ice, played with brooms and a 40-pound stone. But let me tell you, Rob Maitland's accomplishments extend well beyond the ice. Rob, are you laughing? Would you like to come up and share your moment? We know Rob is an attorney and earned his law degree from UNC Chapel Hill and has built a diverse career spanning business law, real estate, estate planning, immigration, and international education. What you might not know is he is an entrepreneur, a career coach, a community leader, and the past president of our club. In fact, he was president the year that I was inducted, which may cause you to question his judgment. So please join me in welcoming our very own Rob Maitland.
Thank you, Linda. You joining this club was the biggest achievement of my presidency. That's legacy. I feel like I'm echoing.
Turn
They
that
got
off.
that mic, you have two
Turn that
microphones.
mic off. Turn it off. Is it right?
Turn it off, yeah.
There
Is
you
that
go.
better?
Yep.
All right. I've never used a cordless mic before, so this is new. But I do not have a mic. Am I clicking or are you? No, you can do it. we've had Felix isn't here, so our entire multimedia
You don't point
arm
at
of
the
the
screen,
club.
you don't point at the screen, point at the computer.
Where's the computer?
Hey, Rob.
There it is. I got it. I got to figure it out. All right. Welcome, everybody, and thanks for that great introduction, Linda. I appreciate it. I'm about to talk to you about the coolest sport there is, curling, because it's on ice, right? But more importantly, I'm talking to you today about something that I didn't know about in Rotary until I was in this club for almost 20 years. All right? We just heard about trying to attract new members. Rotary fellowships are just a great secret. These are clubs that are international in scope. They require at least 5 countries to participate in it, right? And I'm going to show you in a second. There's clubs for just about anything that you might be interested in. The first one I ever joined was the yachting club. And we have a Rotary Navy, believe it or not. It's the oldest Rotary fellowship of all the fellowships. And basically, all around the world, Rotarians with boats, they basically sign up, and there's this whole structure. There's an admiral for each section, and our section went from Chesapeake Bay down to Key West or whatever. And you know, once a quarter, they name a spot, and everybody with boats would come, and I got to meet everybody like that. And there's these little navies all around the world, wherever you are, there's these groups of people. Well, then they started doing these in other areas. Curling was one of the first ones as well. But there's just a Rotary fellowship, just about anything for those of you like tennis, have that, golf, and they have a whole international structure for golf, and as a matter of fact, one day a year, the old course is reserved specifically only for Rotary Golf Fellowship members. Good reason to join the golf group. And these kind of really cool things that are controlled by Rotarians locally open doors that you can't imagine, right? I mean, I've been all over Canada, Scotland, England, just in the last 4 or 5 years with this whole curling thing. And the thing about these fellowships is they're just desperate for leadership, and that's how come I'm the president of the entire international curling group. But we have 1,500 members, right? And it's a pretty big deal. That they say that our group is the biggest curling association outside of the professional leagues. So, you know, kind of a big thing if you're going to run it. Right? So, and as far as what's besides just this being fun for us, these fellowships are a great way to not only retain members, right? Because suddenly, you know, you have a whole other dimension of your membership. But it's a great way to bring on new members. I have personally, we just said this club brought in 14 members during Felix's thing. I have personally brought in 8 new members during that same time. Okay? Because I have found curlers, it's easier to convert them to become Rotarians when you can introduce them to the Rotary concept, not just as Rotary, but as Rotary as part of something they already love, right? So, you know, this gives you a way to introduce a non-Rotarian into Rotary, into a really cool structure that quickly explains the international reach, okay? So we're going to see some of these groups. There is one for bourbon drinking, for those of you who put the lowest common denominator right away. Let's talk about curling first, though. Curling started in the mid-16th century in Scotland. It started in Canada and the USA in the mid-19th century. You know, if you think about it, Scotland invented all the cool stuff, right? They invented golf, they invented curling, they invented poetry, and skeleton. What else did they invent?
Scotch.
Scotch, yeah. Well, how could we forget? We just found out about the lowest common. First curling in North Carolina was in 1995. And then we have a really great, we have the first dedicated curling facility in the South, right over in Durham, right near the airport, kind of off of Ellis Road. And ironically, that facility was built by 3 Rotarians. And it had nothing to do with Rotary, but these 3 Rotarians bankrolled with their own money for loans against their 401ks and all that, and created this dedicated ice. Before that, the curlers would curl like on rented arena ice, right? And you know, curling is like a pool table, right? So the ice is perfect and the stone goes better, but you can also play it outside on a lake, and that's where the brooms came from, right? Because if you're outside on the lake and it's snowing, these guys are using the brooms to help clear the way, right? Does that make sense? All right. The game is played by 2 teams of 4 players. Each team shoots 8 rocks, 16 rocks altogether on the sheet. You've all seen it on television, I'm sure. Each player throws 2 rocks, and then you sweep when you're not throwing. So a lot of people always ask me, do you sweep or throw? Everybody shoots. 3 of the 4 people sweep. The captain, or what we call the skip, he's the one at the other end who's telling you, what speed to throw the rock, what line to throw the rock. He never sweeps. But the way to explain this to those of you who golf, imagine being in a golf foursome and you're on the green, and one of the guys is standing at the hole telling you, I think it's going like this, I want you to hit it here, not too hard, not too, we have numbers to tell what speed we want. Right? And then as soon as you putt, the other 2 guys in your foursome are sweeping all the leaves away and all that to help get that ball in the hole. Right? That's kind of like what curling is. The sweepers, I on my team, I play the lead. I'm the guy who throws the first rock, the first 2 rocks, and my job is basically to put up the guards. Right? I'm guarding what we call the house, the rings. And if I do my job well, then the other team has to come around the rocks to get to the house. Makes it harder for them. When I sweep, I can extend the throw by as much as 6 to 12 feet, depending on how hard I sweep. I can also affect the direction that the stone goes on the curl by sweeping on one side of the rock or the other. And, there's a lot of technicalities to it, but that's how it works. And so when I make my shots, it's because I threw a great shot. When my teammates make their shots, because I swept fantastic. The rock closest to the center scores. A team gets a point for every rock of their own that's closest to the middle before you get to the other team's stone. So if both teams are real close, one team gets a point, and that's it. We had a case in the last World Championships where, unfortunately, it was against us, where they got 7 points. So you can imagine how that's pretty awful. But what happened was, all the stones were on the ice. We were very close. I think we were actually the closest stone. On our last shot, they came in, bang, 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 and knocked our stone out, and it was 7 up on the ice. So, we were ahead in that game with 7-1 at that point, and lost. So that's a very painful loss in the World Championships. Here's what our curling club looks like. There's 4 lanes or sheets, we call them. All the banners are down. For the past 2 or 3 years, I've been paying for a banner that promotes Rotary, curling, and with our logo here. So welcome. But we are sponsoring, because I'm the president, we are bringing the World Championships to Durham in 2028. It's going to be the first time it's ever been held in the South. It's normally always up in Madison, Wisconsin, or New York, or someplace like that. So it's a big deal. And it's a really big deal because all the curlers are from usually pretty cool places. So the idea that they get to come to a nice warm place where they can play golf and, maybe go to the Carolina Hurricanes game and, all of this. We have an incredible interest in this event in 2028. I'm going to be asking our club to be one of the sponsors. As part of this championship, we do a home dinner program, not overnight, but like when I go to Scotland or Canada, each one, I get to go to somebody's house, have dinner with them, and, sometimes usually 2 or 3 people. But it's really great. I mean, you talk about getting to know people, and, it's just fantastic. So I hope some of you will open your homes to that. I hope some of you will come. I think you might remember, was it 6 or 8 years? 6 years ago, I think. We sponsored the Can-Am, and a bunch of you came to the Durham club to watch that. And I think everybody had a good time. The stones are provided by the club, but most of us bring our own brooms. This is a curling broom. Mine is carbon fiber, of course, because I have to the best. But it does, because it's lighter, it does allow you to sweep a little bit faster. And if you're old and weak, you need every advantage that you can get. This is the slider, so when I throw the stone, I hold this on the ice as a brace, right? And you're holding the rock here, and you slide down the lane. Dave at the door had a great video of me the first time I did it. Some of you came a few years ago when we took the whole bus over. And there's a great video of me. I look like a toddler, basically able to stand up. I'm surprised you didn't show that.
Why isn't that in your presentation?
I had it. You couldn't put the photos up there. So, but anyways, it's one of those sports that takes you about an hour to learn and a lifetime to master. A little bit like all. Shoes, when you're not sliding, you want to be able to not fall on the ice. But when you're shooting, you want to be able to slide across the ice. So you wear this shoe on your left foot, if you're right-handed, and you pull this gripper off, right? And then all your weight's on this left foot as you slide down the ice, right? And there's different thicknesses of Teflon and all that, and that increases your speed. It also makes it more difficult to keep your balance. So, any of you who are interested, we continue to do Learn to Curl. This club is a great resource, great potential pool of people for us as Rotarians, all the clubs in our area that we should be focused on. When we started the club back in 1995, when we get 180 members, we could break even. We currently have over 400 members. We have a wait list of about 100. The average age of our club is 38 years old. The club is entirely volunteer. People who understand volunteer service. Everybody in the club has a role to either, work at the bar or, prepare the ice or whatever. So these are people who understand service, they understand community, and when you sit down and talk to them about Rotary, they get it. Right? But then they say, well, I'm kind of busy. And I'm like, well, are you too busy to curl as a Rotarian? No, I'm very well, I'll curl. That's how you get it. So I brought in 8 people. Unfortunately, none of this club. Our fee structure is pretty intimidating for a lot of folks. So, but most of them have gone into the Durham clubs. I think I told you guys this. These are the 3 fellows that originally started the club. Mike is on my team, Mike Hartman. He came and spoke to our club a few years ago. And he's been a great teammate. That's what it looks like when we're competing. And, curling is a great social sport. Part of the curling sport is there's just like Rotary, it's kind of a 4-way tennis, right? It's maybe like golf where you have to call your own penalties. But, there's an honor code. That's why, do you remember during the Olympics and there was the double touch controversy? The Canadian guy was double touching the rock, right? Clearly a rules violation, clearly. But then everybody wants to say, well, did it really affect the rock? It's a 48-pound rock, did it really affect it? Well, the guy's in the friggin' Olympics, he knows the difference, right? Right? And he was trying to say it didn't matter. So that was a huge controversy in the curling world. But it was great because it sure created a lot of media attention during our World Championships over in Scotland, which was terrific. But the other part of the curling thing is the tradition is after the game's over, the winning team has to buy a beverage for the losing team. And we call this broom stacking. So again, you sit down with 4 people you've never known before, you meet them, and this is really neat in the international format because sometimes you're sitting at a table where people don't really speak English too well, right? So you're talking to them, and then the next round's on the next team. That's how it works. And at the end of the week, you're all crying and hugging, and as if you've known each other your whole lives. If you're interested in knowing more about Rotary Fellowships, we have a website and a really cool video that I was going to show you today, but we had a little video challenge, which is fine. But it's got a list of about 150 fellowships. And all you got to do is click on it. It goes right to whatever website that they run. Most of the clubs don't have dues. Okay. Now this is very interesting. Fellowships are completely independent of Rotary International, even though they definitely have rules and all this, but they want to keep a legal separation, right? So fellowships are open to anyone. You don't even have to be a Rotarian to be in a Rotarian fellowship. But like in our fellowship, if you want to just support, like we have some spouses that just support and pay $10 a year or whatever to help support the group. But if you want to compete in our competitions, you have to be a Rotarian. That's the thing. But again, it's a great way to be able to get somebody who's a non-Rotarian to get involved and come and see what it's all about. We were formed in 1972. We got Scotland, Canada, USA, England. My goal is to get two more countries by 2028. We have the championship every 2 years. Every 4th year is held in Scotland, and other than that, it alternates between Canada and USA. And in 2028, it'll be right here. Championship lasts for 9 days. Okay, there's 10 teams on the competitive side and 10 on the fellowship. And we have to play down in each country. So to represent the United States and all that, you have to, be one of the 3 top teams. I got to wear this jacket with my name on it, and then each world championship, you get this cool hat. I haven't put this year's championship on, okay? But we've been lucky enough to be one of the top 3 teams in the 4 straight championships. It's 8 years. So that's another interesting part about curling. It's a what they call a life game, right? We've got members from 8 to 80 playing this thing. And as you get older and you can't get down on the ice, then there's stick curling. And stick curling is, the same exact rules, except you're promoting the stone with a stick instead of from the crouch position. And those guys together. Our team, and some of you know Mark Mosier. He's on my team, and Mike Hartman, and then a fellow named Gary Honeyman. So Mike and Gary have both curled for 40 years each, and Mark and I have both curled for maybe 6. So we've got about 92 years of experience in our team. Most of the teams we play on the international level have 200 years experience easy. And these people have been playing their whole lives, right? And so, they can look across this room where those hammers are and put a stone, quarter of an inch from going around these tables. Impressive. But this is really fun. The World Championships, we've got a pretty neat format. We have opening banquet, we have the home hosting I spoke about. We do some tour stuff where, when we're here, we're probably going to take them to Duke Gardens, we'll take them to the North Carolina Basketball Museum, that kind of stuff. And then we have the final banquet. We have got a commitment already from Governor Stein. He will be coming to the event. I'm trying to get us on NBC television, but it's a bit of a stretch, but I'll get there. But it should be a big deal. I have a concept where we'll try to bring all the clubs. What's more American than a tailgate, right? So if we could get all the clubs in the area to come and have basically a tailgate or a booth in the parking lot that, maybe like a chili cook-off or something like that. But basically, let all the clubs in our area come and mingle with Rotarians from 5 different countries. Here's some pictures. This was we were in Scotland. Fortunately, because of our picture problems today, you will not see a picture of me in my kilt, but it's very similar to this guy's actually. But this is just pictures of us socializing. People bring their families, people make vacations around it. Most of the folks that will be coming to our event in 28 will probably be staying here for 2 to 4 weeks, right? They take that European vacation, right? They start here and do other stuff. So, economic driver. This is an example of a home host. This was where I went. This lady here won gold medal in the Olympics for Scotland and is considered the kind of the godmother because her son and her grandson have also won gold medals.
What country is that?
This is Scotland. This is, I think, the final banquet. This was kind of a neat thing. This is in Canada, and what they did was they used the 3 local clubs to have a joint meeting. So we had the final banquet with a band, music, and had, like in our case, we had the 3 Chapel Hill clubs come together and have this big event. And it was really great. The 3 clubs, did a little ditty about their service programs, and it was really great because everybody got to socialize and get to know each other. Here is a picture of our team when we were in Scotland. This is one of the traditions of curling is the piper. So when we come out on the ice, and at the beginning of the competition, every team comes out on the ice in a line, and we march out, and the piper is playing the bagpipe, and it's really pretty impressive. But this was at the curling facility in Dumfries in Scotland, and that's the piper. Here's that group meeting I was talking about. These are the Wisconsin folks holding cheese heads on their head. This is, I think this was in another Canadian venue. But you can see these are big events, and it's fun. It's a great game, fun, physical, mental, social. It's beneficial to you. It's a great exercise. You think it's not. But when you start sweeping that stone, you start opening on the ice, you'd be surprised, you get in shape pretty quick. About the World Championships, again, we're hoping that every club will be involved in this, but I'm hoping that our club will be considered the title sponsor, which probably won't cost any money, but might cost a little. But anyways, I don't want Durham to kind of take our fire on us. So hopefully we will be one of the title sponsors of the World Championships. Want to know anything about curling? Reach out to me. RotaryCurling.com is our new website. And that's the end of my slideshow.
Questions?
Lorenzo.
Hey, Rob. Great presentation, thank you. Couple of questions. What time of the year will the tournament be taking place when they come?
Good question. So our curling season for the club generally goes from September to April or May. It's too hot, too expensive to keep the ice in during the summer. But the championship for the Rotary curling will probably be in late April.
Gotcha. And then how long does a match last or a game?
We have a strict time clock, okay, 2 hours. And it's it's just like any sport. You can sit over your golf shot and wait, or you can get up and shoot. So there is a time limit. And in the World Championships, we want you to get in 8 ends. In the normal weekly league, we generally get in 7 ends. And ends being like innings of baseball. Now,
what do you wear underneath the kilt? Just your underpants or what?
Are you asking me personally, or, and is this a business or personal question?
A personal question.
Some people wear nothing. Others of us need to wear something. Or we'd be wearing a floor-length skirt. No, that's easy. I don't know, to be honest. I wear underwear.
Just underwear?
Is there a place at the local club where people can watch, or is it at the end of the row? Or
Great, fantastic question. There's what we call a warming room, and it literally has like seats you would find at in an arena or whatever, but it's basically a lounge with a bar. You can sit, you can watch the games, the beverage of your choice, and then when you come out, there's round tables like this where all the players sit. Oh, yeah, it's great. Somebody else?
Rob, what about all the challenge amongst the ladies? We didn't see any up there.
Well, Brian, because of that court order of mine, I can't take pictures of women anymore. That is one of the great things about curling. The hottest part of curling is the newest sport, and you saw it in the Olympics, is, I'm scaring the names up, but the two people teams. Co-ed teams. And in that case, it's interesting because it's a faster game. There's only two people, man and woman. And when you shoot your stone, you have to sweep your own rock. Very popular. But the sport is completely gender neutral. There's no real advantage to be a man or a woman playing curling. Maybe if the stronger person sweeping, but not that big a deal. And our membership in our club is basically 50-50 men and women, and in the championships, it's about the same. Most of our teams have female players on.
Rob, good job. Thank you. Is that on? Good job. I don't know if everyone knows, but some people in the club know that at your home in Raleigh, you built a fantastic new room with a golf simulator that's awesome. Opting here, trying to get another invitation, but are there plans in place for a little ice rink as well?
Not at my house.
No?
But interesting.
It's an idea.
The North Carolina University is trying to build a facility for UNC hockey.
They're talking about getting an NCAA team instead of just a club team.
That's right. And so they approached me, and I talked to them about, maybe we could get some funding if the facility could do hockey and curling, then you might be able to make the thing work a little better. So hopefully that might be all.
I
I do have an ice rink though, which you've also seen on my house, which is right next to the bar. You scoop it in.
I just want to say it was so much fun when we did that first curling thing, and I remember spread eagling on the ice. I was totally hopeless. I listened to every word you said, but I'm still confused. This World Championship that's coming here in 28, is it only of Rotary curling teams? It's
Yes.
World Championship of Rotary.
Rotary.
And when you showed the pictures of the World Championship, that also was only Rotary.
Only Rotary.
But the people who won gold medals at the Olympics,
That's
that's a
different
whole,
league.
different.
Both in different league and they're in a different league. But to just quick story on that. This has been one of the most fun things that I've done in my life. I mean, I've been able to travel all over the world, and it's been fantastic. I mean, at my age, to be wearing stuff like this with my name on it, and promoting East Chapel Hill Rotary, and you're representing the United States. And I got the key to the city when I was in St. Petersburg, Canada. They named the day Rotary World Championship Day, and I had to go, and the mayor gave me the key to the city, and it was also the day of the eclipse, which was the total eclipse, so that was really cool, right? And I thanked them for arranging that on our good day. And I've been in newspapers in Scotland, Canada, it's just been a great thing. And it all happened because as a lawyer, I did a lot of real estate closings. And every time I do a real estate closing, I ask somebody, if they're new to the area, why are you moving here, what's going on? And this guy came to my office and he said, well, I'm moving from up north. By the way, that's why there's so many people in our club. All the people in our club generally because they moved here to the triangle from north and usually for IBM and other big companies. Just because I'm coming because I'm working for IBM, getting a job down here, but I'm also because I'm a big curler and they're building this facility over in Durham and I'm on the board for this and that and that. I said, I thought to myself, I'm going to be president of Rotary in 2 years. And I put it on my little list of things, activities I could do for when I was president. See, I'm inspiring. But because of that thing, we got on the bus, we went over there 2 years later, got involved with this thing, just by serendipity. It was October when we did that, and Mike told me that they were doing the Canadian American competition in January. And so I said to Mike, I was president that year, I said, well, do you need any sponsorship? Yeah, we could use a lunch and all that. So you guys remember, I basically said, we're not having lunch here, we're using the money to buy lunch there. So we all went over there, and that's how you got to meet everybody. And I got to compete in the Canadian American thing. I'd only been curling 6 weeks. And we won our first game, which now I realize was so humiliating for the Canadians who were playing. I mean, like, to only be curling 6 weeks and we managed to beat them, I mean, they crushed us the rest of the week, right? I mean, they just crushed us because it was just insulting. But that's how I got involved with it. And I encourage all of you to take a look at that list. And I mean, what a great excuse to take a vacation to, Arizona to play golf, or to Japan to, if you're into knitting or whatever the heck it is that you're into, they've got this thing. And that way, at least when you go to these countries, you have a reason to be there, and people host you, and, you get to see stuff that you wouldn't see if you just, just as maybe a regular tourist.
Go ahead, Scott.
Yeah, when I watched the Olympics this year, it appeared as though the defenders also had brooms and were able to broom or brush when the defense team threw.
Defense and offense.
Yeah.
So, when you're on offense, you can sweep your stone up to the, if the target line's here, there's a line, horizontal line that goes through it. You can sweep your stone up to that, but once it gets to that line, the defensive team can sweep past it to try to encourage it to keep sliding through that.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, Rob.
You mentioned the controversy with that Canadian. Why was that a controversy? It seemed to a layperson who just probably watches curling once every 4 years that it was a clear violation. I mean, what do you think it was about what he was doing, or maybe was it more just the argument that he was trying to make after the fact that generated such a controversy? It seemed just like a clear violation. And against the spirit of the rules, as you said.
So, it's a great question, and there's been many conversations about this. But like any organization, any sport, right? If you ask, why is it in the past 3 Super Bowls, why is it that Kansas City Chiefs have never had one offensive holding penalty call, right? Every team they played has had at least 5 or 6. Are you trying to tell me seriously that Kansas City, right? Well, there's a theory that the NFL likes it when Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs win. Same kind of thing. If you're curling on the Canadian team, which is kind of the, #1 team in the world for curling, you're asking people in an organization that's very political to come down on Patrick Mahomes. And if you want to be in that organization next year, you probably don't want to be that guy, right? And so that's what some people have pointed out, that, and you see the same thing in the NFL, in the NBA. Michael Jordan rarely got fouls called, and a lot of LeBron James, right? So that's the answer, right? I think is he clearly violated it. Did it affect the shot? If you ask me, yeah, that's why he was doing it. Okay. But also, and I learned about this, the team that was complaining, the Swiss team, was kind of like, who's the whiny complainer on the whole team,
The
right?
Raiders.
Yeah. Yeah, like the Raiders, right? The group doesn't like that team. So like they're complaining and everybody's like, ah, good, glad it happened to you, right? That's kind of the politics. All right. Well, thanks again, you guys. And,